Welcome to Everyday Life. Thank you for joining our podcast, Conversations Over Coffee. My name is Jen.
And I'm Dagda.
And we're going to hit you with the explicit content warning right off the bat. This podcast does include adult situations and adult language from time to time.
I'm an angel. I never fucking cuss.
Okay. Anyways, you ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go.
I'm the golden child. Everybody's fooled by me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, because, I mean, obviously we're going to be like open forum and transparent with everybody. So actually what I was thinking was yesterday, after going through and just double checking to make sure the first episode sounded good, I was like, I think when we're mobile away from the house or locations like this where we can keep things from home, I'm thinking I'm going to invest in some different microphones.
Okay.
We'll have these obviously for ports or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was thinking I really did. And I'm actually surprised because that microphone on sale was so inexpensive.
Yeah.
So I was really surprised by the clarity with it. But I was thinking it would be very nice to have that style. So there's one, but obviously we need make sure we have two.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought it would be nice because it actually did have a nicer clarity. And I think it really does automatically take away some of the nasally sound I'm having right now because of my allergies.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed that was the difference between one mic to the other. Plus, like, let people think I'm cuckoo bananas and have wacky different voices. That's fine too. So anyways, so I'm going to look at that this weekend because I have to go on and do an Amazon order because I'm almost out of mascara. And, if I don't put mascara on when I go out in public, then I look like I don't have any eyelashes. I look weird. That's why, like, you've seen me without makeup because I am not a ton of makeup kind of girl.
Yeah.
Right. But I like just the basics, the eyeliner, mascara, just so I don't look like a fucking zombie. I'm telling you, I feel like one right now because between the allergies and the heat, I'm definitely not getting any sleep. And then, of course, my brain doesn't allow for much sleep anyways. And then, of course, today was really difficult because of my brain playing musical roulette.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, I'm hearing you spinning right round right now. Just because I said the word roulette.
Yeah. I hear music in my head all the time, too.
Yeah, but, I mean, is guar really music?
Yes, it is.
But is it really? Because,
People say, why won't you die?
Stupid fucking humans paying money to die.
Yep.
They're the ones who sing that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Which I don't think we can go much into any more lyrics than that safely. Because we've referenced to it is. That's good. And we've kept it to a minimum. That's good. But what is interesting is, so I was doing a little bit of reading this morning about what we're using for our theme song, just to make sure we're like 1,000,000% compliant with the rules of using it. And yes, we are.
Yeah. Because
I'm like, I was telling my partner last night about it, and he was just like, oh, you got to be careful, copyright laws, royalties, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, we found this awesome place to go, which I'm not going to mention because I'm not going to give them a free plug. Not going to do it. Anybody wants to email us, I will send them an email back saying, hey, go look here, right?
Yeah.
So I explained that to him, and he was just like, oh, I was like, but there is this notice on the website that, hey, you might want to send a thank you gift. Literally, it's like this when you look it up, when you research it through Google, like a thank you donation of some kind. And my partner's like, gives me this look. And I was just like, don't worry. I know my budget. I know we're getting towards the tail end of what we have for the budget to get this, up running and going. And I was just like, I was just like, I kind of look at it like the particular song that we picked has 207,000 downloads, right? Mm. And it has a 90% thank you donation rate. So even if it was $1 a donation at 90%, that's like $193,000. Mm. Even if only half the people did a dollar donation, just a dollar donation.
Yeah.
That's still $100,000. So I don't feel so bad that I'm just like, it's a donation's going to happen, but it's got to wait a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Just so that I stick within that weekly budget, because we're down to the last, X amount of dollars. So that's why I did that thinking this morning that, before the X amount of dollars ran out, probably should get a couple more microphones that are just going to be a lot easier to use.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with the fact that we want to do that interview with that one person, they're not going to be able. Now we can clip this. We can clip the portable mics like we use most of the time. But the concern I have is because she's a hand talker as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she is already kind of soft-spoken. I'm scared it's not going to pick her up as well. So I definitely think I'm going to look at getting something that has more of a boom arm on it, because that way I can attach it to the desk and I can just, the home office. So for anybody who's listening in and joining us, we actually, at my house, we actually created a home office with stuff we already had, that I already had at home and all of that. And so I'm not talking about I rented a big space, just doing it at home. And it's kind of interesting, that room, because it actually has pretty good acoustics for essentially only being 3/4 walled.
Yeah.
But anyways, so those were my thoughts. What were your thoughts about the mics?
I mean, we could try to see if we can get one of the ones from here, because they do have
the portable set.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It's been a while since I checked to see if they have, because a bunch of them basically it looks like they got stolen because they got checked out and not returned.
Yeah. Which, shame on you for anybody who's using the public library and not returning stuff. Shame on you. Just shame on you.
Shame.
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 Shame. Sorry, we can be assholes like that because like our public library system, even though the hours are really kind of weird compared to like when we were kids, it is really a good free public place that you can go. Kids can go and feel safe. Maybe kids in college or young adults in college. It's a really good resource place for them to go. Like our local library, for the members who are here, you get like $5 every week that you can spend on like printing needs. So yeah, there are limitations now. Like they only let you use the computer for 2 hours, but like our local library is really interesting in the fact that they've been developing and increasing this memory lab, which we're actually in today, because you are working on a audio changeover in your personal collection.
Yeah.
So we're actually in the memory lab today, but they also have a digital lab, which will, and kids can go in there, young people can go in there who don't have the equipment at home, and we're not able to finance getting their own equipment, which, by the way, all of our equipment has been bought on like super sales, like 90% off. So I don't want anybody thinking there's a whole huge, massive amount of money that could have been invested, because there isn't. So everything's like super discount world going on. But there are people in our community that aren't as fortunate. But there's some very, very talented individuals in our local community here, whether they're doing spoken word, whether they're doing rap, singing, or other types of podcasting, or like kids podcasting for kids. It's a great local resource for them to use for free, and they can get the experience of learning the equipment and learning the programs and all that. So anyways, so for those of you stealing from the library, shame, 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 shame.
Shame.
Shame. Anyways, so yeah, we should maybe try to check one out if they have any left.
Yeah.
And then we can do that cross comparison between the full mics. Like, I think the sale for my mic is done, but the boom mics, they have boom mics that are very similar. And I think that would be great to have, because like when we go to interview her, we should be able to put that on like an end table, and she doesn't have to move. She doesn't have to grab the little mic. She doesn't have to hold anything.
Yeah.
But I think the boom arm would be good. It'd also probably be good for me since I'm starting to get up earlier and earlier every day, just losing sleep over this whole work, not work, work independently thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, I think that's a great idea to see if they have a kit to check out
Mhm.
and check one out, and then we can hear the difference in the audio quality.
Yeah.
And see what we like better, because I know our listeners are gonna like take that ride with us as we kind of learn and finesse. And that's kind of the brilliant thing about this is learning a new job market, learning a new job skill, and seeing what works best for us.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely times when I've listened to some of our playback because, we're smarter than your average bear. We had to, again, can't go into the old work stuff quite yet, but having to get used to being recorded again.
Mhm.
And all of that is a really interesting learning curve, because there are some things that little quirky things I've heard been picked up on the test recordings that I still think we could utilize, because some of them are just absolutely fucking hilarious. And I'm just like, I didn't think it would have picked that up. I didn't think you could clearly hear that tone in my voice. And I'm sure there's at least 5 different places on all the recordings that like, hey, I'm an asshole like that. And I didn't think it would pick it up, and it did. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So what's the project you're working on right now? What is this audio project you're working on?
Currently, I am basically using some equipment to convert my cassette tape collection to digital media.
So for some people who might not know, what is a cassette tape? It is a precursor to what?
Oh, yeah. It's precursor to CDs.
So from where we're at with digital MP3s, if we're working back, it's going to be like MP3s, and the precursor to that would be CDs, precursor to that would be cassettes, precursor to that would be 8-track, precursor to that would be the 45s and the full-length albums?
Yeah.
Or is it 45 album, 8 tracks, Betamax?
Well, Betamax is video.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think there was a couple other things in there, but the ones that got popular were 8-track and then cassette. But yeah, and then CD, and then, of course, the standard now, MP3, basically.
So when you were a kid and you were getting cassette tapes, and I have to ask this because there was this really popular thing, so we're both from the same state, essentially. I mean, I'm a native, he's semi-native. Anyways, fucking Oregonian. Anyways, God, I don't know where that came from. So here in the big city, because you did grow up rural around here, and I grew up in the city. So up here, it was a huge thing to go to a place called Tower Records. And if you couldn't afford the $15 for a full cassette, so $15 doesn't sound like a lot now, but like the first 30 days that it was out at Tower Records were the premium release days. So almost every single cassette I wanted was $12.99 to $15.99. It just depended. And I swear it just based on how either popular the group already was, like New Kids on the Block no, that just didn't happen. Way back in the day.
Yeah.
We're going way back a few decades. New Kids on the Block, when they had a new cassette tape drop, it was 3 months before you could even find it in our local Tower Records here. But what you could find was what they call cassette singles. 2 songs, one on each side. Was that really popular out where you were at?
Well, we didn't have any record stores or anything like that. Our town was so small that we didn't even have a fast food restaurant until I was in high school.
Wow.
So like literally my senior year, McDonald's and Burger King both opened up.
So like everybody you knew in school got jobs there.
Yeah.
Where you were living farm life, you couldn't do that because you were helping the family.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
We would have to go into the nearest cities because there's like 3 of them in close proximity to us.
So for you're probably nearest city. Would it be where they hold the rodeo every year, or would it be closer to the state capitol?
State capitol.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I have to kind of think about where you were at.
I mean, it's kind of equal distance to the 2 main cities.
Yeah.
But most of the time we just went into the capital city and its area. just out of habit, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we almost never came up to the north. We always stayed to the south.
Going south.
Yeah.
And that might be because you do have other family, extended family that lives down south in, the south of the capital area.
We also had family that lived up here.
Oh, yeah?
So we had one family member that lived up here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we would just go to the capital. So yeah, we would end up, I would end up going to like Tower Records or whatever. Usually it would just be something in the mall.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't remember the name of the thing that had the store that had a lot of music.
FYI or FYE for your entertainment?
Before that, because there was something that existed before
Sam
then.
Goody.
Yeah, that was probably it.
Sam Goody was like one of the biggest like music only, and they still, when I was a kid, they still carried 8 tracks, and they still had 8 tracks and 45s, like legit 45s for record players, when I was a kid. Yeah. But yeah, there was, so yeah, I think it was Sam Goody, then Tower Records, and then maybe FYE. And then, of course, Suncoast. And Suncoast did half music, half movies.
Yeah, I went to Suncoast a lot.
I did too. We actually have one here. I don't think it's there anymore. Yeah. But I remember the first time I walked in, I think I was maybe 12. I remember walking into this Suncoast because the guy over at Tower Records that I'd always seen, because, if you're like you were and I actually started my own mowing business when I was 10, mm-hmm. and then I rolled into babysitting. So every time I did a job, I wanted to get music. And I remember going to Tower Records because I was still looking for that NKOTB. I was looking for that NKOTB, New Kids on the Block. And the guy at Tower goes, hey, go over to Suncoast. They expanded their music section. And I remember walking in there, and I imagined for me as a kid how it was for me. It might be like for some kids going to Disneyland for the first time. It was just like, oh my God, this is glorious. And the clerks there were fantastic because even if a movie was NC-17, they didn't care. You got money, you're buying it. Mm. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I spent more time and effort on reading books than what I did on music, even though I have a fair collection. Mm-hmm. So my experience going to record stores wasn't like, oh my God, this is amazing. It was like, okay, I'm going to go get a Metallica album or whatever. Oh God, yeah. My experience, like what you were talking about, was with a bookstore. The first time I went into Books A Million, mm-hmm. I was like, oh my God, this place is amazing. Right. They got so much stuff. They even got movies and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, and so it's so crazy for when I look at the differences in our upbringing, because you, like we said, you were raised more rural. Mm-hmm. You were literally raised on a very small farm. Yeah. Family farm at that. So just so anybody out there thinking, who is Dagja? Don't worry, he's not linked to a commercial site. It was a family-run farm for family business only, correct?
Well, it was a subsistence farm is what it's called. So basically, we just grew stuff that we ate, but we had a pretty decent-sized piece of property. So yeah, we could basically, during the summer and fall months, we never bought any vegetables mm-hmm. or... Well, we never bought eggs unless my grandmother was baking or something, because mm-hmm. we had enough chickens, not so many that we were overflowed with eggs, but enough so that for normal use, we didn't need to buy eggs. Yeah. And then also chicken meat. We never bought chickens at the store or turkeys because we raised all that. So
see, for us, we just call that family farming because my grandparents had a very small farm. We had goose, duck, chicken. And then, of course, we had the half acre that was the vegetable garden. So that's part of the property.
That's the technical term for that is subsistence farming.
I get that. You get that. But when I was growing up, kids that I went to school with didn't understand if you were just like, yeah, it's a sustainability farm. They didn't like, and it's so funny because now everybody, and you see it everywhere, everybody's just like subsistence, sustainability, local. And it was just for me, victory gardens. Yeah. And I'm like, for me, I'm just like, wait a minute, hold up. You're telling me you people And I mean, I've seen everybody of every age range, every generation range are going like, yeah, now I got to support this sustainable farm, and I've got to, buy local. And like, I grew up on that. So for me, it's just like, why is everybody wanting to pay 5 times what's needed for that? Because there's nothing wrong with making a profit off of your goods and services. There's nothing wrong. There is actually a lady, and I'm pretty sure she got a ticket from our city because she was selling eggs. She was selling fresh eggs out of her house for $5 a dozen during the height of a dozen eggs are going to cost you $10. And she had a little sign, and it was like 3 days a week she had eggs available because she's got like a few dozen hens. And it's not like it's just at her house, though. It's also somewhere else. But I think she got in a little bit of trouble because she was transporting it from the somewhere else to supplement what she had anyways. So she doesn't sell them anymore. But, it's just like I've never understood why people are going, oh, organic this and sustainability and locally sourced that. It's like, go to your local farmer's market. And it's just like, if you go to your local farmer's market, like if I were to go to the local farmer market, just on the north end from us, I can probably get my exact same fruits and vegetables that I get at the store, same amount of money, honestly, same amount of money, only it's organically grown, supposedly. I'm going to say supposedly because it's not like a lot of these places that are doing the farmer's market are completely regulated.
Yeah, most of them. Well, one of the reasons why a lot of stuff isn't listed as organic when it could be is because it costs you money
to get that certification.
To get the certification, and a lot of people don't have the money to pay for it, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't, or it wouldn't be worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
So they just sell it as whatever.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like, I just don't get how people are just feeling. So many people seem to be so shocked by this idea of go to a local farmer, go to a farmer's market, do this, do that, and it's just like, it's been around from time immemorial. Yeah. Like, honestly, because when I was a kid, that's what we did. And when I say we were dirt poor, I literally mean that. I have been in my extended. More of my family spent time in the commodity lines, which if you are under the age of 35, just look it up. It's a little bit to explain it and how it works, which, by the way, there actually is a commodity line in our neighborhood that just reopened. It's like where we go get coffee, like just down around the corner from it now. There's a church that's doing it again. They just had it, and I was actually really shocked because I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I just saw it on Monday, and it was just like, commodities available today starting at 10 a.m. and people were lined up a block away. And
yeah, I've seen them doing that because my friend Zach, he lives down
that direction.
Yeah. So I was walking over there and I'm like, what are all these people standing around? And I saw the sign. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think that particular church is doing commodities now once a week, if not once a month, if not twice a month. But I was just really shocked. Monday, I was traveling down that street to go spend some time with my mom, and I saw it and I was just like, what in the world's going on? I thought, oh my God, there was enough people there, and the way that some of them were dressed, I thought there was a funeral, and I felt bad because I was just like, oh man, this really sucks on a hot, so sorry you have to bury somebody. And I was like, what is going on? Because then I noticed in between these people who were dressed and they had, what are those called, burqas? Some of the ladies that are Muslim or Muslim, excuse me.
Yeah.
They wear that. Okay. So there was a lot of, I saw hajibs. Yeah. It looked like hajibs, but it was not, because it was like just people with scarves, and it wasn't all that, because when you were traveling by, people were like lifting the scarf up over their face as I was driving by, there was a bunch of people that were like hiding their faces. And so it is an embarrassing thing. So anyways, if you don't know what it is, go look it up. Community commodities is
kind of like a food bank type situation.
Yeah.
Same thing, but different group basically doing it.
Yeah. Because when I was a kid, it was government commodities, and you went twice a month to the church to get it, and then twice a month you would go to the food bank, and it was a challenge every time. I went several times with my grandparents, on my paternal grandparents, because I'm not really sure if my mom was aware of it, that they were using. So what would happen is my grandparents parents on my paternal side would take myself and my younger sibling with them when they could, because it increased the amounts that you could get. Now, here's the thing about that. My grandparents had a very good philosophy, or at least I think it's good philosophy. You start by giving at home. You take care of the people who are closest to you, and then you work out. There was a lady who lived down, like my grandparents' property was on a hill. And so you've seen it. We've driven by it. And I'm like, oh, hey, that's where, it's kind of where I grew up, blah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so at the bottom of the hill is where the half-acre garden was. Now, at the bottom of that hill was access to 3 different neighbors. One of them happened to be this little old lady named Helen. Her husband had died. She was disabled. Her kids would have nothing to do with her because they were very money-hungry children. I don't have a better way to say it. Like, you talk about seeing that like typical, in the movie that's a spoiled brat and they're rotten and just everything's gimme, gimme, gimme. That's the way they were. And they didn't want anything to do with their poor mother. Like, you're so déclassé because you are in poverty level income. So my grandparents, one of the things they would do when they had the ability to take myself and at least one of my siblings, that got put into the count. So it would increase the amount they got. And every commodity day, my grandfather would take a paper bag full of stuff. He would separate it out and he would take it down to Miss Helen. So, and he would do that with our vegetables. So my grandfather had a great philosophy, even if he was a racist fuck sometimes, he had this great philosophy. You start at home, you start with what's closest and you work your way out. So he definitely did take care of his community.
Yeah.
And he always gave back my whole life. Now, I understand there are people in my family who may feel differently about my grandfather. But the 2 things I would say to that is, 1, he's not the same man he was when they were growing up as he was when I was growing up, number 1. And number 2, if you don't understand the devastating damage PTSD can do to you, because my grandfather actually was a POW. He was in a Japanese POW camp for 6 months. If you don't understand what that does to your brain and psyche and how that's going to change you over time, then maybe do a little bit of research. So anyways, did you guys do any of the commodity stuff that you recollect?
No, we didn't need to because
you had cows, didn't you?
No, they had a cow, but not when I was living with them.
Yeah,
we just had chickens,
turkeys, pigs.
Yeah. And then a big ass garden and a bunch of apple trees and like 3 hazelnut quote unquote trees, because they're more like a bush, not a proper tree.
But that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like my grandparents' property, which is really sad because I don't think they're there anymore. I know one of the trees many years ago had to come down because it got diseased, and unfortunately only an arborist. So their property had Italian plum trees. And it's not just a type of plum that actually the trees themselves actually did come from Italy. And they're actual true Italian plum trees. As far as the story I've been told, now there's going to be somebody out there in the Twitter sphere or the Tiki sphere or whatever. It's going to be like, there's no such thing. Okay, when I was growing up, look, I'm just telling you.
That's what I was told.
That's what I was told. My grandfather paid very specific money because when he was overseas after being released, that's one of the places he did go because they had a certain way they processed you.
Yeah.
And he ended up actually going to Italy and France on his out processing after being a POW for part of his recovery, which I always thought was funny, but obviously he couldn't go to his homeland before coming back to our country. And he had the plums there. So he very specifically saved the money and ordered the saplings and had them sent overseas here. So either way, we called them the Italian plum trees. They came from Italy. They were plum trees. Most delicious things you ever did eat ever, I swear. But caveat warning, don't eat more than a dozen of them. Once you got past a dozen, because these things, high in sugar, but they're very small and they're very sweet.
It's like, why are you eating a dozen of those things?
Because they're, when you're a kid and it's like you picked at breakfast because you didn't want breakfast and lunchtime ate for hours and you're hungry, like, dude, this plum tree, when these things got ripe, they started popping and you wanted to get them before they hit the ground. Because here was the rule of thumb at my grandparents' house, because although my grandpa liked the plums and everything, he didn't like plum jam or plum jelly. So it literally was fresh eat fruit is what it was. And my grandmother just made very few things with it.
Yeah.
And so it was first come, first serve. And one of my aunts would always come over with like grocery bags, the old school paper grocery bags. Like literally you can and she would pick it clean if she could. So that's how you eat more than a dozen. And let me tell you what, you got about 30 minutes after you eat that dozen before your ass better be sitting on the toilet, because literally it's just a big stomach cramp, a loud fart, and then it's game over.
Yeah, I had that happen one time when I ate a whole bag of baby carrots.
People don't realize that can happen.
Yeah, because I was just sitting there. I don't remember what I was doing. I was playing a video game or something, and I was like, I'm kind of hungry. And I don't have any chips or anything like that, because usually I'll snack while I'm doing that. And so I pulled out a bag of baby carrots. I was like, this will work. And started eating them. And the next thing I knew, I'd eaten the whole bag. And then the next thing I knew, I had an emergency.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people don't realize that baby carrots come in basically a few size bags, and depending on what it was, either you ate a pound.
Yeah, it was like a pound bag. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you don't realize how quick that bag goes.
Yeah.
Most families buy the 2-pound bags, but I've actually bought in the 5-pound bag before, and I know somebody who ate half of that in the course of a day, and they paid for it dearly the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily, it was kind of a needed thing, but yeah.
Want to clean you out.
Yeah. And what's even funnier is, now I don't know if you have this experience, because being raised around a farm area for you, and then for me, spending a lot of time with my grandparents in the city, but on their like home farm. The first time I had more than 2 cups of carrots, my poo was orange the next day. That freaked me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first time I had a half gallon of Kool-Aid within a day. The next day, my poo was
bright red.
Nope. It was actually blue-green, and it scared the shit out of me. Literally scared the crap out of me. It made me poop some more, because I know it's a weird thing, and I know a lot of people actually don't do it, but you're supposed to pay attention to the color of your poo.
Yeah.
Because it could show you having some duress. And the other thing that you actually might notice, which is a really gross topic, but you might actually notice if there's some mucus in there, which could be meaning that you have some sort of an infection starting or whatever. So it was just habit. There was 2 habits I had as a kid when it came to my poo. Make sure to check it for color, and make sure to flush it all down, because you don't want to leave anything laying around in the toilet, God forbid, because with siblings, you'll never hear the end of it. And so those are 2 very distinct memories I have, is after eating probably a half pound of carrots, about 2 cups of carrots, and having my poo orange the next day. And then after the first time I had about a half gallon of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we didn't have Kool-Aid per se when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We had Weilers. Do you remember that?
I never had Kool-Aid growing up, at least not at our house.
Yeah. Well,
maybe I had it at one of my friends' houses, but my grandparents never drank that shit.
So Weilers was a poor man's drink mix, just kind of like Country Time lemonade. I remember Country Time lemonade. My grandparents had always had this huge, like 5-gallon thing. So I never really had Kool-Aid at their house for a very long time when I was a kid. I think I was closer to being probably 10 or 12 before I routinely had it, because I had a couple of friends that, had Kool-Aid. I mean, I remember my mom getting it, but we always had your basic red colors. But I mean, the first time I had Kool-Aid that wasn't red, because when you drink red Kool-Aid, it kind of comes out brown, but I had blue and green, and it was like this tropical blend they only did, and it scared the holy crap out of me. So Weilers and Country Time. Weilers was like a knockoff Kool-Aid. That's what the poor people could order.
Okay.
And then so Country Time lemonade, even though it's really super popular now, and even more people like to drink it in the last 10 years because of that wonderful show, The Walking Dead, and Negan going, I know you got some good about that powdered lemonade shit. I left you plenty last time. So that.
Yeah, we did have that, the Country Time lemonade.
Which was really good. I mean, it's fine. I like lemonade really well, even as an adult. But I really knew we were having a good week where my grandfather, like even after he retired, he would pick odd jobs up. And because my grandmother was disabled my whole life. She did stuff around the house, as far as like she cooked, she cleaned and all of that, but she never worked. When I was a kid, she never worked, and she spent a lot of her, if she walked out of the house, she had to be in the wheelchair because she couldn't trust her body. But around the house, getting up and down the kitchen and everything, because it was a very small house, she could just lean on the counter. So she was okay. There was a few times where she was having bad leg days. And I remember my grandpa bringing her out of her bedroom in the wheelchair. So she was disabled, but I knew we were having a really good month when my grandfather would get the fancy pink lemonade, because it was like $1 more in the store. Doesn't sound, you wouldn't think something like that where there'd be this big price difference, but there actually was.
Yeah.
And $1 is a lot of freaking money when you're a kid, especially when we grew up. So anyways, look, I see the time waving at me. So I think we're going to put this subject to bed for now. And then we will should say like that whole thing of thanks for joining us. If you haven't already, subscribe and make sure you share and share again and share again and share again. Is that what we're supposed to say now?
Something like that.
Yeah. So they're going to get hit with the outro now, right?
Yep.
All right. Next time, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, everybody. That's all the time we have for today. So I want to thank you for stopping by to enjoy the conversation. We're glad you're here, and please share and share again and share some more. And if you haven't already, subscribe. We'll be having another chat and another cup soon. We'll talk to you then. Look forward to seeing you.